Alright, so let's talk in this lecture about variables, and this entire section we're gonna talk about variables and the different, let's say, areas to it so you can understand it better and you can use it better with your code. Now, let's actually define a variable. What is a variable? A variable is a way to store data temporarily. Now be careful with this. It's a temporary storage location for our own data. Where does the data get stored in? Okay, so you define a variable. We're gonna see how we do that. But where our data inside this variable will be stored? It will be stored in the memory of the computer, and like the application will remember its location in memory and get you the value when needed or update it when needed. So let's start by defining a simple variable. I'll come over here, I'll just declare a variable. It will be integer and I'm gonna call it age, and I'm gonna give it my current age. If we look at the definition of the variable, how does it happen? Notice that I have to declare the variable type at the beginning. So you have here int. This represents an int 32 integer, which is an let's say system integer value uh, that has numbers inside it. It can go from minus 2 billion something up to positive 2 billion something. Now, after I declare the variable type or I set its type, notice that I have typed its name. So I go and I say this variable name is Z or whatever. Now, the name will be used to access the variable value or update it. So remember that. After that, notice that I have the equal sign, which says that I'll give this variable a value. And as you notice, for sure you know that you have to end each statement with a semicolon. So this is the basic way to define a variable. You got your data type. After that you add a space, the name of the variable. Now you can add value to it, an initial value or not, it's up to you. And you end your statement. So this is how you declare the variable. Now let's go more deep into the variable itself. If you notice, I have the variable over here written in a small letter. But what happens if I change it to a capital letter? Does this work? Yes, it does work. You can name your variable either small letter or capital letter, but you need to be careful. C# is a case sensitive language, which means if you go down here like this and type H, okay, equal maybe 7. Now the IDE typed capital, but I will add small. Notice that you will get an error here, and it says that your variable does not exist. So you want to be careful with the sensitivity of the case for your variable. Now also, what's with the variable naming? Now, can I add numbers to it? Yes, you can. You can add maybe 2 like this. Notice that I have for sure to mirror the name of the variable. I can add lowercase to it. Okay, it's totally legal, no issue with that. But there are some constraints with the naming of the variable. First, you can't come down and say int variable. As you can see, it's a reserved word. You cannot call it int and just like give it a value like this. It's not acceptable from the language point of view. Also, your variable cannot start name with the number, and that's important to know. So always define your variables with letters, or you can start it in some cases with underscore. Now, not all the symbols are allowed. So if you add a hash like this, it gives you an error. Maybe an @ sign also give you an error. So you cannot include all the symbols inside your variable name. Now, after we defined or talked about the declaration and the name, what else I can do with my variable? I can actually use it and update its value. So for example, I'll go call this age2 variable. I'll say equal age, and I want to add 1 year. Okay, as you can see, as simple as that. I just say the variable name equal, and I add any value to it. It's up to you to define the value needed. Also, you can print out your variable value. So you can say console.writeLine in case you are not sure what's happening. You can use this trick. So you can say age value is, and just print out the age, and it will print it out for you in the screen. So this was the basis of the variable and how we can deal with them. A really good information for you is these types of variable, okay, like integer, string, okay. These variables are stack allocated, not heap allocated, and we're gonna go into details. Like, don't worry too much about the details for now, but I need you to know this information because you will go through this into a lot of situations.